Today, we're going around the world in 80 days. We are playing the game 80 Days. And it started off just like this. Let's see what we've got. It's London, 1872. I have entered into the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. What have you to say about this, my friend? Inkle presents in association with Cape Guy. Who's Cape Guy? Does he live on a cape or does he have a cape on? Or is he both? I mean, he could be a man with a cape on who lives in the Cape. Oh, credits. Oh, credits. Oh, God, credits. Get out of my face, credits. 80 Days. There we are. 80 Days is a procedurally generated, as I understand, game about the Jules Verne novel Around the World in 80 Days, in which our goal is to get around the world in 80 days, as I understand it. Let us click on London. What must you have to say, London? Let us begin our journey. There's Big Ben off in the distance. Monsieur Phileas Fogg returned home early from the Reform Club, and in a newfangled steam carriage besides. I helped him down, and the iron-lunged, steam-driven horses clattered away. Passepartout, said he. We are going around the world. Around the world, monsieur. Very good, monsieur. Sir, we are no timid creature. We are prepared to go around the world. Very good, monsieur. So we shall do. We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days, he said quite calm as he proposed this wild scheme. We leave for Paris on the 8:25 in an hour. Whew. Well, this has happened quite suddenly, my friends. I did not expect to be whisked off from my London life as I sipped tea and ate some biscuits, sitting in my Victorian lounge, hoping that one day, perhaps, I could write the great Victorian novel, which I don't think was a particular ambition of the Victorian people. I think the general ambition of the Victorian people was to see at least Victorian men's ambition was to see a woman's ankles because they're so stinking crazy deprived. Anyway, regardless, I did not expect this, and this is quite a departure, my friend. This was quite a departure for my master, who was, by all accounts, a creature of inflexible habit and mechanical regularity. Perhaps the carriage's engine fumes had affected his reason. Perhaps you should lie down, monsieur? No, I think monsieur is within full capacity of his understanding. For Paris, monsieur, we shall go, my friend. To begin with, yes, pack an altimeter and my evening jacket. There's not a moment to waste. You, Passepartout, now have funds. Your character is now dependable. Apparently, I am a dependable person. That's probably me right there. Look at that chin line. Oh, my lord. I can assure you that dependable is not a good adjective for me. But regardless, we are going to go to Paris. Quick, Passepartout, collect our things and we will be off. Let's pack. Ooh, I see. There was just a moment to seize anything further that might be useful for a long trip. Actually, time is ticking quite quickly. He said that he wanted a pocket altimeter. So we'll put this in here. I think an evening jacket. Do we want an evening jacket? That sounds nice. I think he wanted that as well. But what else will we get? A European shipping timetable? A slender volume listing all routes within Europe? Ooh. In a wax cylinder inscribed with marks describing a recording of a symphony. Interesting. Valuable in Vienna, Paris, and Copenhagen. And playing cards, a deck of 52 cards, suitable for a whist drive or two. Of interest to humor, stalwart, official, and soldier types. Interesting. Let's bring the European timetable. I can understand how that would be used. There we are. What we have here is wool trousers, a wool shirt, and an evening jacket, which completes the Englishman's wardrobe set, which is very nice. We are a legitimate Englishman. We have a pocket altimeter, part of the air travel set. Don't know what that means, but likely we'll need another thing because it's 1 out of 2 owned in order to do some form of air travel. And we have a European shipping timetable. Perfect. Away we go, my friend. Our completed English wardrobe should help us negotiate times of upper-class journeys. Oh, that's very nice. We now look like respectable people, I would presume, which is arguably the case. I mean, I don't know if one would call me a respectable person. One would definitely call me a person, though. Here we are. Let us depart, my friend. We are off to strange new lands, to Paris, where we shall arrive in tomorrow. Here we are. 8 p.m. Amphitrite Express to Paris, departing now. The guard's van has space for 1 suitcase, which will suffice. That'll be perfect. It looks like a bearable option. Very good. Away we go! Oh lord, that's actually taking quite a while, isn't it? Can we turn up the speed? Oh, what is this? The mechanical horses raced past Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds. Even so, the whistle of the 8:25 was blowing as we pulled up to Charing Cross Station. We raced along the concourse and threw ourselves aboard, or we have no tickets, I exclaimed. No, we cannot take the time to exclaim that we have no tickets. The train is literally right there. If the train is right there, we must throw ourselves on board. Come, Monsieur. Throw yourself onto the carriage so that we may continue our journeys. We're probably going to get thrown off at this point. Threw ourselves aboard as the second whistle shrieked its warning. We barely had time to take our seats before the guard rapped smartly on our compartment door. He held out his hand. Ticket, please. Alas, monsieur, we are in a great hurry. Well, we've barely left the station yet. I have a feeling that Mr. Guardman will not be particularly concerned about, throwing us off of the freaking train if we don't have tickets, so I shall pretend to have lost them. Monsieur, you must play along. Monsieur, if you don't play along, I'm going to slap you in the face right in front of this guard. And that would not be proper of a Victorian gentleman. To slap in the face or to be slapped in the face. Those would both be terrible. I have lost them, monsieur. I pretend to have lost them, patting down one pocket, then the other, and start digging through our suitcases when Monsieur Fogg interrupts my touching performance. My valet is trying to express that we were in too much haste to purchase tickets, he said. No doubt intending to chasten me, which was not at all my meaning, or I tried to alter my mime. Well, I think we should play along with Monsieur, because Monsieur is a respectable gentleman, and the guard, of course, will listen to the respectable gentleman. He's not anything akin to me, who is a disgusting little street urchin, come off of this street, working for Monsieur, instead of picking his pocket. Although, technically, I'm pretty much picking his pocket, because I don't really do anything for him. I just sit around and try to alter my mime for him. And I tried to alter my mime to fit his interpretation. I had mixed results, but I did locate 2 5-pound notes under one of the seat cushions when I began using it for a shield. At what point were you using the seat cushions for a shield, and what were you shielding yourself from? And who left 2 5-pound notes under your seat? Jeez! You may purchase them from me, the guard was saying, though it is more expensive, I'm afraid. £8, please. I argued with him, or I handed over the 8-pound notes. I do think... We have... Oh, look at that. We have £4,010. Do we need to argue over a small quibble of poundage? Doesn't really matter. I hand over the 8-pound notes. It's fine. There you are. I handed over 8... Wait a minute. What? Hold up a second. That wasn't eight. That wasn't £8 notes. That was 85 pounds. Oh, good God. We spent a lot more. I would have. Oh, Lord. Oh, God. I'm sorry, monsieur. I wasn't listening close enough. We've just spent 85 pounds. We should have argued the point, monsieur. You need to slap me when I make those kinds of ridiculous decisions. I handed over the 85 pounds and smiled a thin smile from one working man to another. The guard gave me our tickets and slid past the compartment and slid the compartment door shut behind him with a pneumatic hiss. Our funds have gone down somewhat from 4,010 to 3,925, which is quite a reduction. I feel disgusting. I am on fine form, but we must make haste. That we must. What is this converse button? Begin a conversation. I'm at your service, Monsieur Fogg. Passepartout. We shall begin our conversation upon the journey. Sir, this has been quite a journey. I must say I am sorry for having used the seat cushion as a shield. And I'm also sorry that in the course of that it did go out the window, so you now have to sit upon a hard wooden bench. I know it is not the ideal situation, but my friend, I can assure you it is perfectly fine. Let us discuss it. But tell me, monsieur, what is the purpose of our journey? I have made a hefty wager, and I do not intend to lose. Very good, my friend. London's smog gave way to rolling hills and the pastures of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of technological advancement. Monsieur Fogg reads his paper whilst I repack our bags. We pass the day in silence. That seems more logical. We do need to make sure that everything is back in our bags after we literally just opened them up and just poured them out onto the ground in an attempt to find tickets that didn't exist to trick a guardsman who we then paid 85 pounds to, which is likely much more than we should have paid. Thrown together in haste and confusion. As afternoon turned inexorably to evening, I discovered that my master was one of those gentlemen who broke their silence rarely, if at all. A guard rapped on our door. "Mate, we paid you, you little prick. Get out of my face!" On our door a few miles before Dover. "We are about to submerge," he warned. "Takes some people a bit funny, so watch out." What do you mean, submerge? I presume you are speaking of going through the English Channel Tunnel, otherwise sometimes referred to as the Channel, which is personally a name that I do not enjoy myself. But it must be done regardless. What do you want about? It takes some... it's not funny. It's not ridiculous. Perfectly fine with this. It's fine. It's very good. Very good, my friend. Get out of my face, you guards! Very good, I replied, as though submerging inside a 1,000-ton metal train was quite ordinary for me. "If you feel claustrophobic," the guard replied, "try running up and down the corridors. I always find the exercise helps." With that, he closed the door. I could not help a shiver. Oh, mate. Pressed my face against the window glass. I wouldn't do that either. Both of those things seem quite unbecoming of an English gentleman. I am concerned of nothing, and I shall not press my face against the window glass like a child, watching as pansies roll by outside the window. Not necessary at all. But would Monsieur Fogg be claustrophobic? I doubted it. He appeared not to be constrained by mere matters of place and circumstance. An alarm sounded as the fins above the Amphitrite's wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell, and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. I'm gonna level with you. I think I misunderstood the situation, perhaps? We may actually be going into the channel. I take it back. This is a concerning situation. Why are you sending us into the channel? Well, at least our relationship with Fogg has improved slightly. Very good. My lord, this has been an eventful journey from London to Paris. Imagine trying to get around the world like this. The Amphitrite plowed through the water overnight and splashed up onto wider gauge French tracks at Calais as dawn broke. Wider gauge French tracks. Ah, there we go. Do you have a route in mind, monsieur? I began to consider what we might require for our journey. No, but it doesn't matter what we require for our journey. We have everything we need. We have a good set of English attire. We have that little stopwatch thing. We have a ticket thing. Tracks, the notes, those paths. Doesn't matter. Anyway, we have those things. And we have monsieur. What else could we possibly need? Do you have a route in mind, monsieur? I asked as the water of the channel dried from the compartment windows. I am as of yet undecided, my master admitted. The new channel has sped up the shipping route from Suez to Bombay, though perhaps we could take the Trans-Siberian Railway across Russia. Now, one might say that it is always a bad idea to find yourself in Siberia, but on the other hand, sometimes you have to find your way to Siberia, and I'm concerned that at this point in time, Bombay may have been quite known for pickpockets. Monsieur, we have 3,925 pounds. That will make us quite a picking for pickpockets. They stick their little hands in our pockets, and I'll either have to admit them to take the money out, or I will have to cut their hands off with a small, tiny little guillotine in the middle of the road. I would prefer to not have to cut people's hands off with small, tiny little guillotines. So we shall not go to Bombay, sir, but instead be exiled towards Siberia. Surely not Bombay, I exclaimed. We shall certainly wilt in the scorching heat. Then we would do well to buy hats and linen trousers, he replied. There are other alternatives. We may also travel over land and across the Black and Caspian Seas. Which is fastest, my friend? Our safety is of no concern. We are perfectly fine. Monsieur, look at him. His jaw could kill a walrus if at all necessary, and I believe it may be necessary at some point to kill a walrus with Monsieur's hard jawline. Which is fastest, my friend? I believe, said he, that is what we shall put to the test. Parbleu, I scarcely knew what to think. I don't know what that means, parbleu. I guess it's similar to sacre bleu. I don't know. Anyway, we arrive at Paris, Gare du Nord, just after 1 o'clock. I don't know French, just so you know. So my pronunciation of anything French will probably be terrible. Anyway, I am fully English blood, so I don't particularly care about mispronouncing French words, because, quite frankly, French, they're little pricks, which I only say because I'm a full English blood, and you may note the historical conflicts between France and England, and I am forced to follow those to the letter. Anyway, we arrive at the place, which I can barely pronounce. Automaton porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto the platform with long, delicate, filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. Oh, shut your mouth. We're not staying in Paris, that's for sure. Oh, look at this route. Going from Suez to Jeddah to Aden, all the way out to Bombay, which we don't want to go to. Or we could take Moscow all the way out to Ekaterinburg, Omsk, Irkutsk, some other place, and to the other side. I couldn't read the names because they were Russian, and Russian is kind of hard to note. Let us see. We have a market, we have a bank, and we have explore. Let us examine the market. What have we here? Traveling cloak. A traveling cloak good for keeping out chill winds and heavy rain. Oh, that sounds quite important. We have some wine, which does not seem worth 2,000. $300 in Berlin! Oh god. Geometry equipment. A set of geometric drawing instruments precisely made and beautifully presented. Valuable in Copenhagen, Warsaw, and Budapest. Interesting. And then we have some shaving kit, which I do not believe we need. Okay, what shall we think about? Tucked away in the 7th arrondissement is my favorite market street. Okay, looks like we are filled up in our suitcase. We shall purchase an extra suitcase, monsieur. Please, purchase an extra suitcase. Okay, there we go. We shall buy it for 22. And we shall have a traveling cloak, which will be necessary as we travel through Siberia. And we will bring the Chateau de Yquem wine, which we shall sell in Berlin for $2,300, because that is a friggin' hefty amount of money. And it's not dollars, it's pounds. What am I on about? But regardless, that is what we shall purchase here. We have no need to sell anything, although we could sell that for $220, which is a lot of money, but on the other hand, doesn't seem necessary. Current time is 7:07 p.m. Oh lord. Let us see. How could we possibly make a trip? No, we can't do it that way. Oh lord, I just took a screenshot! Why did I take a screenshot? Close it! Oh good lord. Cancel. Oh god. Okay. We're going to have to sit upon... Oh, maybe we don't have to sit upon the hotel. How do we get to Amsterdam? Or Zurich? Do we have any other form of transportation? Let us wait in the hotel for one night. And then perhaps we can do the explore option. We took a hotel for the night. We will be comfortable here, Monsieur Fogg remarked, but traveling overnight will often be more efficient. So we must board the longest journeys available. That is the truth, perhaps, he replied, the short answer indicating, I think that one-day journeys might often be more flexible in their timing and could allow for more connections. Still, the surrounds of the Hotel Ritz were most enjoyable. I would imagine they are. Let's explore. New routes discovered. That's what I thought. We have created new routes. We had a few hours to spare. I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we had to leave. Indeed, and you should learn anything of note, be sure to relay it. I nodded and headed into town. What have we here? Something no doubt incredibly French, I would imagine. The talk on the street was of one thing only, an enormous, elegant oval stadium constructed upon the green fields of Champ de Mars, containing the technological marvels, art, amusement parks, and milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872. My city still wore the scars of last year's siege. I ventured inside, but I was certain that he would not intend me to visit fairs. Oh, but this is not any particular fair, my friend. This is the World's Fair. Which, I don't know. Is this the Eiffel Tower World Fair? I don't know. Anyway, we shall venture within. I ventured inside the grand illuminating pavilions of the exposition. An artificer was replacing an arc light. I went westward towards the airship hangar. Airships? Past a booth with a husband and wife pair selling panoramic hot air balloon rides to eager tourists. Ooh. See, this might be particularly interesting. The hangar was crowded with airships. If we could, potentially, acquire one of these airships for our journey, this would be an incredible investment. What do we have? With airships and flying vehicles of all shapes and sizes, attended by sharp-eyed crews from all over the world. And my eye was immediately caught by an African-made rigid metal balloon, a gilded Egyptian Ifrit-class airship, a metal-clad four-propeller Savarkar, a Atmotic, a bulky coal gas-powered Ottoman Gayik, and a twin-bladed Peruvian gyrocopter. Now, knowing gyrocopters, that's probably not the best move. But, the bulky, coal-powered Ottoman Gaelic, or the African-made rigid metal balloon. I don't believe in the gilded Egyptian Ifrit-class airship. I believe that would be too luxurious for our journeys. Gyrocopters are generally a bad idea. I believe you do have to run them with your own legs, which is bad. We don't want that. We're going quite a ways. Metal-clad 4-propeller Savarkar Atmotic. I don't even know what that is. Bulky gas-powered Ottoman Giek, which had an excellent reputation for safety if not speed. More and more were being converted to civilian use as the Ottoman military replaced the Gieks with Persian-designed Bayandor airships. The Ottomans are a great power. Where do these ships fly, my friend? Throughout our empire, came the reply, and elsewhere too. I believe the flight from Rome to Thessaloniki is by Gaelic. Perhaps one day soon, Monsieur Fogg and I would find ourselves flying in such a craft. I returned to the exposition center, my thoughts turning with clouds and engine rotors. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting, illuminating pavilions of the exposition. What is this artificer? We must speak with the artificer who is replacing the arc light, which is no doubt quite important. It had burned out. She first disconnected the strange machine powering the lights. It had a spinning iron wheel, which was wound around a series of amateur coils. Do we have here potentially a power generator of some sort? Sounds like it. What is that device, Miss Artificer, ma'am? I asked politely, my eyes straying to the copper lily pin which proclaimed her profession. It's a bleeding nuisance is what it is, the artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. These grand machines are finicky beasts. Now, I don't know if that's a Yorkshire accent or not. I'm not really particularly sure. I didn't even read that before I said it, so there you go. Gram machines? What is a gram machine? Well, it's a... Oh, never mind. She waved my question away. It's a steam engine, all right. Only it doesn't make steam. Will that do? I hate explaining stuff to laymen. Oh, my lord. Did you just call me a layman? Look at my attire. It's fully English and fully gentleman. If you're going to call me a layman, I'm going to slap you across the face, then proceed to throw you into a pit and throw a Molotov cocktail in after you and walk away with shades on, pretending to be really cool. The police will probably take great offense to that, but in the meantime, I shall feel quite amazing. The harshness of her tone was belied by her gentle touch. What does that mean? I retreated hastily, not at all in terror of her irate tone. No, I will not retreat. I entirely understand what that means. By her gentle touch as she unscrewed the arc light's bulb of enameled glass and replaced the 2 carbon rods within. Whew, I was concerned that would go a completely different direction. It's okay, people. It's perfectly fine. She reconnected the supply and the 10 Yablokov candles, connected in series, lit up once more. Will all the streets be lit with electricity soon, ma'am? There are already a fair parcel of cities lit by electricity rather than gaslight, she retorted. London will probably be last, given the old Queen Vicky's prejudice against the Artificers Guild. Oh, would you not talk like that, please? It's so disgusting. But Perry is modern and we still use gaslight. Surely London is the capital of invention. Clearly it is, obviously. Come now, I asked. There are even Trevithick steam carriages on the streets these days. The artificer gave a pitying look. London's not as advanced as you think, laddie, she replied. There are more automata in the colonies than on London streets. She looked at her pocket watch, cursed and hurried off, dropping something as she went. She is a very gruff woman, I do have to note. I pocketed it. I pocketed it. It was a guild medallion, a token of membership or favor that might prove useful should we encounter other artificers along our path. I looked about me once more. Crowds of tourists jostled and heaved past, their eyes wide with wonder. I headed towards the red and purple tent of the Artificers Guild. I took a stroll down the Avenue of Nations. Red and purple tent of the Artificers Guild. Oh god. I so want to. We will. This will be our last foray before we sign off, friend. I headed towards the red and purple tent of the Artificers Guild, draped with banners emblazoned with their copper lily sigil. A steam-powered automata orchestra was playing gleaming brass instruments. It had the most incredible display of machines. I don't care about this orchestra. Who cares about an orchestra playing gleaming brass instruments? It's all about the machines, my friend. As though a scrapyard had been brought to playful life, one of the artificers was, explaining the guild's credo to a group of sticky-fingered children, had his hands deep inside a human-shaped automaton. Robots. We got ourselves a robot, mate. What's on about? He took out a piece of engraved glass, peered at it with a jeweler's lope. Dashed thing, he cursed in upper English tones, then looked up. Oh, hello. How are you? Why are you looking at me, sticking my hands inside a robot? There's nothing weird going on here. Come on, it's just a hobby. Just a hobby. What are you doing, my friend? Might I ask? What? Oh, he waved the glass shard dismissively. I'm trying to build an automaton that can cook, you see, but it's not going well. He looked mournfully. This one can't even fry a chip. How long have you been trying, friend? It's been a dream of mine ever since I was a young lad at boarding school. It's why I became an artificer. The wistful tone dropped into horror. The things old Mrs. Parson could do to a cabbage, the tender stomachs of Britain's youth would be much safer in mechanical hands. Perhaps they should hire French cooks. Do you cook yourself? Perhaps they should hire French cooks. French cooks are quite good, I suggested with a little wink. A French cook? The artificer stroked his mustache thoughtfully. Good thought, old chap. Perhaps I'll go and find myself a cook to model my automaton after. The artificer smiled. I wished him well in his culinary endeavors. I may as well wish him well. I mean, quite frankly, I am quite skeptical about the entire situation, but I'll be skeptical. But took my leave courteously nonetheless and returned to the center of the exposition, ears ringing with the bombastic tunes of the steam orchestra. My feet were tiring and the hour was growing late. I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who was eating a meal of plain boiled beef à l'anglaise? À l'anglaise. Ah, yes. No, I know that word. I swear I know that term. I know it! I just haven't seen it spelled. Okay, fine. People, everybody happy? Good. Very good. Did you enjoy the exposition? My master inquired diffidently, as though I'd been visiting an aged great aunt. Having preferred a hearty meal in an English newspaper, I nodded. I did quite enjoy the exposition. It was quite interesting. We met an artificer who had a disgusting accent, given that she was a woman, and it was incredibly gruff, next to being a man, and it was terrible. But it was overall quite nice. Nothing else could possibly impress me now. We are unspeakably lucky to live in such an age of invention. Will we travel by airship, do you suppose? I think it highly likely, he replied. They are expensive, but extremely fast. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automatons, with beautifully enameled faces, knowing little of the strange inventions and stranger people I would soon encounter in my journey around the world. Ooh, airship routes from Rome to that place. How nice. Anyway, that brings us to the end of our episode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. This has been 80 days. We spent 3 days and literally only got to Paris, which is kind of unfortunate. But on the other hand, it was quite a journey, I must say. Imagine trying to go 80 days. That would be crazy. Anyway, if you want to see me play more, leave a message in the comments, I will definitely consider it. Until then, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.